Welcome. This is the Senior Safety Advice Podcast, and we are so glad that you've made it to a calmer corner of your day. Here, we focus on real solutions, practical help, and the kind of encouragement we could all use a little more of. So let's get to it.
Let me start with something simple but powerful today. Winter has its own kind of magic, and most of that magic shows up in the quiet moments when we finally let ourselves rest. I think we forget that rest is a real need, not a luxury, especially for caregivers and older adults. So today, I want to talk about this quiet magic of winter rest and why it matters so much. And I'll tell you, in all my years as an OT, I've seen how healing rest can really help. Okay, so I've been thinking about something that happened a while ago that always comes back to me, especially this time of year. I used to visit a woman in her late 80s. She was a patient of mine who loved winter more than any other season. And this was up in North Carolina, where there is real winter. One day I asked her why. Why does she love winter? And she said, and I'm paraphrasing here, something like, winter gives me permission to slow down without feeling guilty. You know, sort of like a rainy day. And she meant it. She'd sit by the window with this soft blanket and watch the light shift across the snow. There was no noise, no pressure, just this beautiful quiet. And her body responded to that quiet in the sweetest way. Her breathing got softer. I noticed that her shoulders settled. Her whole presence felt grounded. And that's the kind of winter magic that I'm talking about. Now, here's the thing. Rest doesn't always mean sleep. Rest is anything that lets the nervous system loosen its grip on you, on your body, on your mind. And winter, with all its stillness, helps us do that if we let it. The air slows us down, the shorter days ask us to soften our pace, and nature itself takes a pause, which we should take a lesson from. And we've forgotten how to follow that rhythm. But our bodies remember it. They actually crave it. If you're feeling tired lately, or stretched thin from the holidays, or just emotionally worn out, you're not the only one feeling that today. Believe me. This is such a common winter feeling, especially for seniors and caregivers. The cold months bring a difficult and different kind of weight, but they also bring space for deep renewal. And this is something that truly matters. Okay, now, I know that the winter is often times of the holidays, and the holidays can be wonderful and great. But after the holidays, there's this time of where everyone takes a breath, when they sit back and they're almost glad that it's over because they can get back to a routine, back to living. Okay, so let's talk about what winter rest can look like for you in real life, because it doesn't have to be dramatic, it doesn't have to be long or planned. It could be these tiny moments that you incorporate in your days that restore your energy in gentle ways. Winter rest might look like sitting by a window with a warm light on your face. You know, the light from the sun, if you happen to have sun that day. Or it could be warming your hands around a mug of tea, or stretching under a blanket while your joints wake up slowly. I love a good morning stretch in bed. Or letting yourself take a longer breath than usual. It could also mean enjoying a quiet morning without rushing into chores or activities. That's why I always plan, or I try my best to plan everything after 11 a.m., because those mornings are so important to me to be a nice, quiet, slow morning. It really sets the tone for the rest of the day. And it could also be just moving a little slower, on purpose. If you take a walk, you don't have to rush around the block to take the walk. maybe take a slower walk. Maybe take a little longer walk, but on a slower pace. Take a look around instead of just trying to just finish the walk. These are all small things, but they speak loudly to the body. They say, you're safe, you're allowed to rest. They give you that permission, and you should give yourself that permission. So let me tell you something from my many years of OT experience. Seniors often do better with slow, rhythmic days in the winter. Honestly, I'm a senior and I do better with slower, rhythmic days every day. The bright lights and fast pace of summer and the holidays and, times of the year when there's multiple events can really be overwhelming. But winter supports a softer way of living. It really is a reset, which I love that. And that soft pace helps with balance, cognition, emotional stability, and even physical comfort. I've watched older adults blossom when they stop fighting the season and start working with it instead. Okay, now for caregivers of older adults, I want to talk straight to you for just a moment. You carry so much, and winter can actually be your ally if you let it. This season tells you to pause. It tells you to take one more breath before you keep going. It tells you to slow down your thoughts, even if you can't slow the responsibilities. If you feel tired right now, that doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're human and you're carrying a lot. Winter rest is your permission to take a moment for yourself. Think of it as a permission slip. Now, let's talk a little about the emotional side of winter rest, because this part really, I think, is important. When we slow down, our emotions finally get room to settle. All the feelings that were pushed aside during the busy months finally rise up and stretch out a little. That can feel really heavy, but it can also feel like a release. I've seen seniors cry with relief when they finally exhale after holding themselves together for so long. This is especially true after all the holiday events. And I've seen caregivers feel supported for the first time in weeks or longer when someone gives them space to rest without explaining why they need it. That's why I think respite care is so very important for caregivers. All right, winter rest reminds us that we don't have to perform our strength every minute of the day. We can soften, we can breathe, we can just be. There's real healing in that simplicity. So here's my gentle encouragement for today. Lean into the slow pace of winter a little. Let yourself settle into the quiet. Let your breath be your anchor. Let the stillness be a friend instead of something to push through. Even 5 quiet minutes count. Your mind needs that. Your heart and your body need that. And you deserve that kind of care. Winter has a quiet magic, and that magic is rest. Don't force it. Don't schedule it. Natural rest that grows from the stillness around you. Let it hold you. Let it steady you. Let it remind you that you don't have to push so hard right now. You're allowed to feel tired. You're allowed to move slowly, and you're allowed to rest. All right, my friend, that's what I wanted to share with you today. Thanks for being here with me. If this episode brought a little calm to your day, share it with someone you care about. Maybe someone who could use a reminder to pause and reflect. You'll find more gentle reflections and resources for seniors and caregivers at seniorsafetyadvice.com. And come back tomorrow for another daily moment of calm, guidance, and encouragement right here on the Senior Safety Advice podcast. And hey, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel or the podcast yet, go ahead and do that right now. It really helps us reach more people who could use this kind of support and information. Until next time, take care of yourself and the ones that you love.
This podcast is part of our mission to help older adults live safely and independently. If you'd like to take the next step, visit aginginplacedirectory.com where you'll find specialists, helpful resources, and inspiration to make every home your place to thrive.